This is level O, list 5, and we're doing the day 1 page, and in this list we've got the OI making the oi sound in the middle of a word. So we've got moist, hoist, point, joint, spoilt, and then down the bottom we've got the suffix full, so we've got FUL. Now when we add full to a word we drop one L, so it's FUL, not FULL, as we would have if it was a word on its own. So you can highlight that to remind you that it's only one L when it's used as a suffix. Okay, so we've got helpful, grateful, careful, thoughtful, and fulfill. Okay, let's go back and highlight some of the other things that we can see happening in these words. So choose another colour, and moist is pretty easy. You've got oyster, oyster, nothing tricky in there. Ointer, jointer, joint, oilter, nothing tricky in those ones. Helpful, help. No, that's easy. Here in grateful, you've got the E making the previous A make its long vowel sound. Careful, you've got the air sound, A-R-E. You've already learnt A-I-R and as in air, and E-A-R as in bear. This is another one, A-R-E. This is a revision. Now here you've got that O-U-G-H making the all sound, thoughtful. So O-U-G-H can make 6 different sounds, so this is another one that we're revising. And you've also got the T-H at the start there. Full and fill, when we add them or put them together, we're dropping one L in each, so it's one L here and one L in the fill, the suffix. Okay, what do these words mean? Well, moist means a little wet. Hoist means when you lift something up. You might use a crane, or there is such a thing as a hoist, which also lifts people in or out of beds or in and out of pools, etc., if they're unable to move. Point is where you indicate a direction. A joint is where two things meet, such as the bones in your leg, or a join where you've got pieces of wood joining together. Spoilt means that something is ruined, so it also means when someone has a lot of attention paid to them and they get used to getting their own way, we might say they're spoilt. But if you got caught in the rain, you might say, oh, your dress is spoilt, it's ruined, etc. Helpful means when you're full of help, so you might help do chores around the house. Grateful means that you're full of thanks for something that's happened. Careful means that you're full of care, you're being very careful in what you're doing. Thoughtful means that you've been thinking a lot about something and you put some effort into doing it. And fulfill means that you've achieved something. Okay, let's go back and read the words, sound the words and spell the words. Then we're going to write them and check to make sure they're right. So moist, oyster, 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 M-O-I-S-T, 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 cover it and write it, M-O-I-S-T. When you finish the whole word, you go back and cross your T and dot your I. So you have to write the whole word. So you do handle, hill, hill, wave crashing for the O, you go over and then you come back again, smile to the I, over for the S, come back again, up for the T. When you finish, you go back and dot your I and cross your T. So let's try it again. Handle for your M, one hill, second hill, over like a wave crashing for the O, back again, smile to the I, over for the S, come back again, up for the T, finish off, go back and dot and cross your T. Okay, you can finish the rest of that page. Make sure you check your words when you finish. If you've made a mistake, rub it out and do it again, and just check that the whole page is correct. This is level O, list 5, and we're doing the day 2 page, and in here we're revising the OI for the oi sound in the middle of words, and we've got moist, hoist, point, joint, spoilt. Then we've got the suffix full, F-U-L, on the end of these base words. So we've got helpful, grateful, careful, thoughtful, fulfill. Now you can see when you add full to a word as a suffix, you're dropping one of the L's. And if you're using it as a prefix, same happens. So full means, when we add it to a word, it just means full of. So full of help, full of great means that you appreciate something being done. Careful means full of care, full of thought, full of filth. Okay, moist means that something is damp or it has some water or moisture in it. Hoist means to lift something. A point is the sharp end of an object, or you can also use it as a verb where you're pointing at something. A joint is where two things join, it forms a joint, and spoilt is when something is ruined. Now let's go through and read those words, sound them, spell them and write them. So I've got moist, moist, M-O-I-S-T, cover it, and you're going to write it 3 times. Or write it once, sorry, and then you can finish off those as well. Read and write the meaning of the word. We've been through that. Read and fill the gap with the list word. The farmer had to something, his obligation to the wheat company. You can work out which word best fits that. Write a list word that means full of help, lift up, a little wet, full of thought. They're quite easy for you. And the antonyms, you've got to find the word that means the opposite to these words here. Now, if we go back and have a look at some of the things that are in those words that we haven't pointed out yet, you know, there's not a lot really. Just be careful here. This is an irregular verb, so we've got spoilt rather than spoiled, or you could have spoiled as well. Great, you've got the E making the previous A long. Air, this is the air sound, A-R-E we're revising. This O-U-G-H is one of the 11 different or sounds that we have in English, and we spell it O-U-G-H. So we know O-U-G-H can make 6 different sounds, so this is one of them. And for fill, you've dropped the L on the full, and you're going to drop it on the L in fill as well. This is O list 5, day 3, and we've got the oi sound represented by OI in the middle of these words. So we've got moist, hoist, point, joint, spoilt, and then we've got the suffix full added to these words: helpful, grateful, careful, thoughtful, fulfill. So just have a look. When you add full to a word as a suffix, you're dropping one of the L's there. So let's have a look at anything else in these words that we need to be aware of. They're pretty easy really. You've got the E making the A make its long sound here. Air, you've got A-R-E for the air sound in careful. Thoughtful, you've got that O-U-G-H making the or sound in thoughtful. And when you add fill to a word too, remember you're dropping one L, so you're only putting one L as when it's used as a suffix to a base or root word. So let's read the words, sound the words and spell them. So we've got moist, moist, and if we write it, we do the M, handle into the M, hill, hill, wave crashing, you go over for the O and come back, smile to the I, over for the S and come back, up for the T, dot your I and cross your T. Now the OI is generally used in the middle of a word for the oi sound, and we usually use the OY at the end of a word or syllable for the oi sound. The reason we don't use OI on the end of a word is because English words can't end with I. So split these words into syllables. You've got helpful. So you're always going to split it after the base or root word. So you've got helpful, thoughtless, grateful. Quite an easy activity for you to do, but an important one when you're starting to write multisyllabic words. Combine with a list word, so you're looking at common pairs. So what word would you commonly put with power that's a list word? Say these words and write the base words, so you've got to work out what those base words might be. Verb families. Now this is where you generally add the S, the ing or the ed to change the tense of the verb. Just be aware here with spoil, you can have spoilt and you can have spoiled, so you will need to fit the two of those words into that space. Write a list word that rhymes with, so I've got some rhyming words happening there. And here you're going to have to say the alphabet in order and search for a word that starts with each letter of the alphabet. If there isn't one, you skip that one and go to the next letter of the alphabet. Now, if you have more than one word starting with the same letter, like hoist and helpful, you look at the second letter of each word and work out which letter comes first in the alphabet to put that word next. This is level O, list 5, and we're doing the day 4 page, and it's about making adverbs. So on the last day 4 you did, we talked about adding affixes to words, so prefixes to the start of a word and suffixes to the end of a word. So to form an adverb, we're adding a suffix. We usually add ly to form an adverb. So adverbs tell when or where an action takes place. Many adverbs tell how an action takes place and end with the letters ly. So adverbs add to the verb, they're describing the verb. So in these words we are adding the ly to form the adverb. We're going to have greatly, instantly, suddenly, generously, clumsily, strictly. You've got to use those words that you create, those adverbs, to finish off these sentences. And then down the bottom, you're going to have to write this word here with ly on it to form the adverb, and then use that word, that adverb, in a sentence to describe a verb. So just be careful in the way you structure that you are actually using the adverb as an adverb to give more description to a verb.